Hello dear friends. Welcome back to the channel. In the last video, we talked about fear. Not grammar. Not vocabulary. Fear. The fear of rejection that keeps you silent in English. Today, we go deeper. Because sometimes fear does not just make you nervous for a moment. Sometimes fear quietly steals opportunities from your life. And you do not even realize what it has taken until much later. Have you ever typed a message and deleted it? Have you ever wanted to say something important but stayed quiet? Not because you had nothing to say, but because you were afraid of how the other person would react. Today, I am going to tell you a story about a girl who stayed silent. And how that silence cost her more than rejection ever would have. She was confident in many areas of her life. She studied well. She spoke comfortably with her friends. She had opinions, thoughts, emotions. But there was one area where fear always appeared. Expression. There was someone she admired. Not in a dramatic way. Not in a movie-like way. Just simple admiration. Respect. Warmth. She thought about sending him a message on Valentine's Day. Nothing intense. Nothing overwhelming. Just something honest and kind. I just wanted to say I appreciate you. She typed the message. She read it again. Her heart started beating faster. Her mind immediately began creating scenarios. What if he thinks this is strange? What if he laughs? What if he does not reply? What if she looks foolish? The message was simple. But the fear felt huge. So, she deleted it. She told herself she would wait for the right moment. She told herself she needed better words. More confidence. More certainty. But the truth was simple. She was not waiting for the right moment. She was waiting to feel fearless. And that moment never came. The silence that followed. Days passed. Then weeks. Then months. One day she saw a picture. He was smiling next to someone else. Happy. Moving forward with his life. In that moment, she did not feel anger. She did not feel jealousy. What she felt was something heavier. Regret. Not because he chose someone else. But because she never gave herself a chance to be chosen. She was never rejected. She rejected her own voice. Now pause and think about this carefully. How many times have you done the same thing with English? You prepare sentences in your head. You know what you want to say. You even practice alone. But when the real moment comes, in class, in a meeting, in front of friends, your heart starts racing. Your mind says, what if I make a mistake? What if my pronunciation is wrong? What if they judge me? And just like she deleted that message, you delete your sentence. You choose silence. In that moment, silence feels safe. It protects you from embarrassment. It protects you from immediate discomfort. But what it does not protect you from is long-term regret. The girl in this story did not suffer because of rejection. She suffered because of the question that kept repeating in her mind. What if I had tried? That question is powerful. It stays. It echoes. It grows louder over time. Now imagine yourself 1 year from now. Will you still be thinking, I could have been fluent by now if I had started speaking earlier? Will you still be understanding everything but expressing nothing? Confidence is not built in your comfort zone. It is built in moments where your voice shakes but you speak anyway. The girl believed silence would protect her heart. But silence did not protect her. It only protected her fear. And fear always grows when you feed it with silence. The mindset shift that removes regret permanently. Regret does not come from failure. Regret comes from inaction. The girl in the story did not suffer because someone rejected her. She suffered because she never allowed reality to respond to her courage. She kept everything inside. She protected herself from a possible no, but she also blocked a possible yes. And that is the real danger of fear. It does not only remove risk. It removes opportunity. This is the mindset shift you need to understand deeply. Your job is not to control the outcome. Your job is to control the action. When you speak English, your responsibility is not to impress people. It is not to sound perfect. It is not to guarantee applause. Your responsibility is only to express. Once the words leave your mouth, the result is no longer yours to control. Some people may respond positively. Some may not react much. Some may correct you. But none of that defines you. Silence, however, defines nothing. It changes nothing. It builds nothing. The girl believed that waiting would protect her from pain. But waiting slowly built a different kind of pain. The pain of wondering. The pain of imagining. The pain of unfinished stories in her head. And unfinished stories are heavier than uncomfortable moments. Now think about your English journey. Every time you stay silent, you create another unfinished story. Another moment where you could have tried. Another opportunity where you could have grown. And over time, those unfinished moments turn into a quiet belief inside you. Maybe I am not confident. Maybe I am not good at speaking. Maybe this is just how I am. But that belief is not truth. It is a pattern. And patterns can be broken. The permanent mindset shift is this. Rejection is an event. Regret is a decision. Rejection happens once. Regret repeats itself in your mind for years. When you start seeing mistakes as temporary events instead of permanent labels, something changes inside you. A wrong pronunciation becomes practice. A forgotten word becomes experience. An awkward pause becomes proof that you tried. You stop measuring yourself by reaction. You start measuring yourself by participation. The girl's real mistake was not staying silent that one day. It was believing that silence was safer than expression. It was believing that protecting her ego was more important than exploring possibility. Do not make the same mistake with your English. You are not learning this language to be perfect. You are learning it to express, to connect, to grow. And growth requires exposure. Exposure requires courage. Courage requires action. The moment you shift from, "What if they judge me?" to, "At least I tried," regret loses its power. Because when you act, you close the loop. There is no, "what if?" There is only, "I did." And that sentence alone builds more confidence than years of silent preparation ever could. The practical emotional formula to never freeze again. Freezing does not happen because you do not know English. Freezing happens because emotion becomes stronger than intention. You want to speak. But fear speaks louder. So, here is a simple emotional formula you can use every single time you feel your heart racing before speaking. First, shrink the moment. When you think, "I have to speak perfectly," your brain feels pressure. Pressure creates panic. Panic creates silence. Instead of telling yourself you have to perform, tell yourself you only have to express one clear idea. Not 5 sentences. Not a speech. Just one thought. When the moment becomes smaller, fear becomes smaller. Second, shift your focus from yourself to the message. When you focus on how you look, how you sound, how people may judge you, your anxiety increases. But when you focus on what you want to communicate, something changes. Your brain moves from self-protection to connection. Instead of thinking, how do I sound? Think, what do I want them to understand? Communication becomes the goal, not perfection. Third, accept imperfection before it happens. Most people freeze because they are trying to avoid mistakes. But the confident person does something different. They mentally accept that a mistake might happen, and they decide it is fine. The moment you allow imperfection, fear loses its power. Because fear survives on resistance. When you stop fighting the possibility of mistakes, your body relaxes. And finally, act before your mind overthinks. There is always a small window between intention and fear. That first second when you know you want to speak. Use that second. Speak before doubt builds a story. The longer you wait, the louder fear becomes. Courage is often just fast action before negative imagination begins. Think about the girl in the story. If she had sent the message before rereading it 10 times, before imagining 10 different reactions, before creating 10 worst-case scenarios, her story might have been different. The problem was not the sentence. The problem was the overthinking. The same thing happens when you speak English. You know the sentence. You understand the topic. But you wait. And in that waiting, your mind creates fear. So, remember this formula. Shrink the moment. Focus on the message. Accept imperfection. Act quickly. You do not need to eliminate fear. You need to move with it. Because confidence is not the absence of nervousness. It is action despite nervousness. Let me leave you with something honest. The girl in the story learned her lesson too late for that moment. But you are hearing this now. Which means your story is still being written. You still have conversations ahead of you. You still have chances to speak. You still have opportunities to express what is inside you. Do not let fear become your editor. Do not keep deleting your own voice. One awkward sentence will not destroy your image. One mistake will not define your intelligence. One moment of courage, however, can change the way you see yourself forever. Years from now, you will not remember the small embarrassment. You will remember whether you tried. So the next time your heart races before speaking English, do not step back. Step forward. Because rejection is temporary. Embarrassment is temporary. But the confidence you build from courage stays. If this video connected with you, comment below. I will not delete my voice. And if you are ready to stop preparing silently and start participating boldly, share this video with someone who needs this push today. Subscribe to the channel. And if you love this type of content, press the like button. Your voice matters. Now use it. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.